It's Tuesday, July 12th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with a look at the latest local news, including a suspicious masked man in Milford, more allegations against a Shelton massage therapist, and more. Frank Granito will join us later with a Nutmeg sports update. We'll also take a look back on this day in history and a look at the forecast. But first, on to today's news. The Milford Police Department's Detective Bureau is investigating a suspicious masked man that was caught on camera July 7th at about 3 a.m. on Cedarhurst Lane and again on July 11th at the same location at about 2:45 in the morning. Police said a man slowly opened the screen door of a home to check and see if it was unlocked. Then he rang the doorbell, which is a video camera that was activated by the man walking toward it. The man is described as light-skinned, wearing a Yankee baseball hat, gloves, and a face covering. Anyone with information regarding that incident is asked to contact the Milford Police at 203-878-6551. And the Valley Independent Sentinel is reporting 4 more women have alleged they were groped by a Shelton salon employee, according to police. Shelton Detective Richard Bango would not release additional information about those new allegations other than that they are investigating them. Those accusations could lead to more criminal charges against Hyung-Chan Kim, 53 years old, of Queens, New York. Kim's lawyer, Sung-Ho Wong, said he could not comment because he is still looking into those allegations. He said, investigation, and it's important that your readers understand there's a presumption of innocence. Kim was working as a massage therapist at Coco Spa on Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton until police started investigating sexual assault complaints from 2 women. He was charged July 5th with 2 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault and practicing massage therapy without a license. Kim allegedly groped a woman who had a tumor in her breast and another woman suffering from lupus, according to arrest warrants. The woman with lupus went to Coco Spa in early May to get a massage that would help her cope with pain from the disease. There is much more on that story at valleyindy.org. And work continues on the Route 825 bridge in Bridgeport, and Manafort Brothers International, which is the contractor demolishing and replacing the 4 bridges, has posted a YouTube video of some progress thus far. The video is the latest tool that Manafort has used to show people how the $35 million job is done. It's using live cams, Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube to get the message across. Hearst Connecticut media reports that last month the demolition of the southbound Capitol Avenue and Lindley Street bridges were demolished and replaced in less than 2 weeks. Beginning Saturday, work will begin on the removal and replacement of 2 northbound bridges. The work will be a repeat of what the contractor did on the southbound side of the highway. And New Canaan Police Chief Leon Krolikowski is speaking out on drug and alcohol abuse in town among young people. Krolikowski said that heroin and other opioids are available in town, and they continue to make the sale of illegal opioids the highest priority, and they'll continue to find educational opportunities to deter opioid use. Krolikowski also spoke out about drugs and alcohol and its tie to sexual assault crimes among young people. He said alcohol and drug abuse contribute to unwanted sexual encounters between minors because they impair cognitive ability to recognize and resist sexual aggression. He said generally someone under the influence of alcohol or drugs can't give consent, and most sexual assaults that the department investigates involve the use of alcohol or drugs. Krolikowski also noted that the most influential group, the parents of the town's children, must step forward and make the proper yet unpopular choices when it comes to preventing underage use of alcohol and drugs. He said preventing a child's death or addiction makes the unpopular choice seem easy. And in other news today, in partnership with the Prospector Theater in Ridgefield, the police department will be holding a car seat clinic tomorrow, Wednesday, July 13th. The clinic will be held in the Prospector Theater parking lot from 8 in the morning until noon. Child passenger safety technicians from the Ridgefield Police Department will be present to inspect and assist with the installation of child passenger restraint systems. No appointment is necessary, and inspections and installations will be done on a first-come, first-served basis. There is no charge for that service. And the Connecticut Department of Public Health's laboratory will no longer provide state-funded testing of rabid wild animals suspected of infecting pets if there was no human exposure. That change went into effect on July 1st. Officials said the lab will continue to provide and pay for rabies testing of any wild or domestic animals if humans were exposed. NBC Connecticut reports the new policy requires pet owners to pay for the cost of testing potentially rabid animals suspected of infecting a pet. Officials from the Department of Public Health said this will primarily affect pet owners whose animals have not been vaccinated. Pets that have been vaccinated will be placed in quarantine for up to 6 months, while vaccinated pets can be observed at home for 45 days. In the past few months, animals have tested positive for rabies in nearby towns like Easton, Weston, and Stratford. And the Fairfield Police Department Canine Unit needs community support. According to Fairfield officials, that canine unit is entirely funded by corporate and private donations from the community. Fairfield police say that the canine unit does not replace a police officer, but serves as a valuable tool in combating and deterring crime. Often the mere presence of a police dog allows an arrest to be achieved peacefully and may keep a police officer out of harm's way. Also, the police canine is frequently the determining factor in conducting a search for a missing child or senior who may have wandered from their residence. But you can find a GoFundMe page and more information on the Fairfield Canine Unit on their Facebook page. Switching gears and taking a look at the forecast. Sun and clouds mixed today, a high of 81 degrees, humidity at 53%. Tonight, it's going to cool off a bit, low near 65, but humidity up to 82%. Tomorrow, the humidity gets higher and we have mostly sunny skies, a high of 86 degrees, 63% humidity for the area, and it will be getting hotter as we go through the week. But we are going to step out for a break. When we come back, we're going to take a look back on this day in history. Frank Granito joins us for a Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have some more news coming up after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at futurestarssportsacademy.com.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We are back on this July 12th edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski and filling in for Donald Eng today with a look back on this day in history. including that in 1861, 24-year-old stock tender James Butler Hickok is attacked by 3 men in Rock Creek Station, Nebraska. Hickok, who went by his father's name Bill, keeps his cool and manages to shoot all 3 without getting wounded in return. The story of this gunfight spread quickly, and in 1867, Harper's New Monthly magazine published a highly exaggerated account of the shootout, which claimed Hickok had single-handedly killed 9 men. The article quoted Hickok as saying, "I was wild and I struck savage blows." Thus began the legendary career of Wild Bill. 1862, the Medal of Honor is authorized by Congress. Awarded for personal acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty, the medal is awarded by the President to U.S. military personnel only. There have been 3,514 medals awarded, about half of them during the U.S. Civil War. The most recent was February 29, 2016, to Navy SEAL Edward Byers for his part in rescuing civilians from the Taliban. 621 medals have been awarded posthumously, and 19 men have received 2 medals, including Thomas Custer, younger brother of George Custer, and who, like his older brother, died in the Battle of Little Bighorn. 1962, the Rolling Stones performed their first concert at the Marquee Club in London, England, United Kingdom. The concert included covers from such artists as Jimmy Reed, Robert Johnson, Chuck Berry, and of all people, Paul Anka. And in 1979, there was this.
Security numbers are joining the police, which are now about 40 or 50, and they're slowly, now rapidly walking out the center field where the fire is burning. The fans are now streaming off the field in great numbers, and I doubt if very few will be left to confront the police as they come in helmets and nightstick gear.
That was the scene between games of a doubleheader at Comiskey Park last night as White Sox owner Bill Veeck went a promotion too far. It was billed as Disco Demolition Night. A rock disc jockey came up with the idea of blowing up disco records as part of his self-serving campaign against disco. And the White Sox went along by admitting anybody bringing a disco record for 98 cents.
You try something, if you don't know how it's going to end up necessarily. You think it's a good idea, and it just got out of hand. He was more popular, had more pulling power than we felt was possible.
That was Disco Demolition Night. A crate filled with disco records was blown up on the field between games of the Twilight doubleheader between the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. The playing field was damaged both by the explosion and by the rowdy fans to the point where the White Sox were required to forfeit the second game of the doubleheader to the Tigers. Disco Demolition Night remains well known as one of the most extreme promotions in Major League history. But that does it for your look back on this day in history today. We're going to throw it over now to Frank Gordito, our sports director, for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. We start with last month, Danbury Athletic Director Chip Salvestrini was the recipient of 2 prestigious awards. On June 14th, he was inducted into the FCAC Hall of Fame, and then just 2 weeks later, we learned on June 29th in Louisville, Kentucky, he was honored as one of the 8 national finalists for the National High School Athletic Coaches Association Athletic Director of the Year. Salvestrini, who was the Connecticut High School Athletic Director of the Year in 2009, was nominated for the award by the State Coaches Association. The Trumbull Pisces swim team continued their summer of excellence with another successful tournament this past weekend. At the 2016 Long Course Regional Championship, the Pisces claimed first overall in 5 individual regional events, including the girls 10 and under 200 free, girls 11 to 12 50 free, girls 11 to 12 400 free, girls 11 to 12 200 backstroke, and the boys 11 to 12 200 free. The Pisces will now send 12 simmers to the 2016 Long Course State Age Group Championships in just 2 weeks. And finally, a former New Canaan High School swimmer has booked his ticket to Rio. Thomas Dunston has earned himself a spot on the United States water polo team for this year's Summer Olympics. Dunston attended New Canaan High School through his junior year before transferring to Mater Dei High School out in California. He's the youngest member on the team at 18 years old. Thomas has already won himself a gold medal at the 2014 Junior Pan American Championships. That's going to do it for this sports update, but be sure to tune into Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock, where I'll be joined by John Kovach to break down film from this past weekend's Grip It and Rip It Championships, as well as to recap and preview our coverage of the Babe Ruth State Tournament. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Getting back to a little more news today, the Darien Board of Selectmen will discuss the implementation of 24-hour paramedics at a meeting being held today. The board voted unanimously in April to hire contracted paramedics, and with the new budget year having begun July 1st, the board will discuss their process for choosing a service provider. The decision to provide full-time paramedics follows a strong recommendation from McGrath Consulting, who completed a study of Darien's emergency medical services earlier this year. McGrath said the paramedics would serve to improve the basic life support services currently provided by Post-53 volunteers and could improve response times. McGrath also suggested that the paramedics work alongside Post-53, adding that they could serve as mentors to those volunteers. Former Post-53 Director Ron Hammer said the Post facility would need to be updated in order to house a 24-hour paramedic at its Norotan Heights location. Hammer resigned from his position in May, with EMS and CPR instructor Nancy Darling assuming the role. Due to updates in Connecticut's EMS standards, Post-53 stands to lose its Advanced Emergency Medical Technician certification in 2017. Without AEMT certification, Post responders would be unavailable to deliver intravenous medicine, among other services. And the Stratford Police Department is officially under new leadership. Joe McNeil took the reins of the town's police force Monday morning, being sworn in as chief during a brief ceremony at Town Hall. McNeil, 51 years old, a Stratford native, takes over for Patrick Ridenauer, who accepted the chief's position in Danbury. McNeil, who was the deputy chief for nearly 4 years, joined the Stratford Police back in 1994 after working as a public accountant in Stamford for 3 years. His 3 brothers were also police officers, though he's the last one currently working. And in an update on a story we talked about on last week's CT Pulse, Trumbull native Kevin Sutherland's passion for photography lives on in Washington, D.C. Metro Station, where the Trumbull resident was slain last summer. As part of the Metro's Art in Transit project, D.C. Through the Lens of Kevin Sutherland, collages featuring 10 photos of the nation's capital that Sutherland captured during his time as an American University undergrad will be displayed at the Noma Gallaudet U-Stop this summer to memorialize the 24-year-old victim who was fatally stabbed on a train as it pulled into the station July 4th, 2015 in a senseless and random attack. Days before the 1-year anniversary of Sutherland's death, Metro officials, with full support of the Council of the District of Columbia, installed the photo wrappings on plastic columns to the surprise of Kevin's parents, Douglas and Sharissa Sutherland. The Trumbull Times spoke to the Sutherlands' parents and friends. You can get a lot more on that story at TrumbleTimes.com. And in Ridgefield, 2 more cell carriers are expected to set up their equipment at the newest cell tower probably this summer. The tower off Old Stagecoach Road in the Ridgebury section of town went live last November 10th and has been carrying only AT&T cell phone signals and town emergency communications. According to Ray Vergati, site development manager for the Danbury-based company that owns the tower, said that 2 other companies are negotiating. One company is T-Mobile, and they are waiting for funding so they can put their equipment on the tower. He could not name the second company because it has not filed public documents yet, but First Selectman Rudy Marconi has been saying since last fall that Verizon was in negotiations. And it's time for the summer's favorite fruit to shine. The 12th annual Blueberry Festival takes place Saturday, July 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. rain or shine at Trumbull's Long Hill United Methodist Church. The church cooks have been at it for weeks now and have already lovingly made over 200 blueberry pies. With at least 1 pound of berries in every single pie, you can see why there's 100% sellout of the pies each year. Those blueberry pies will be sold at the festival either by slice, a la mode, or entire pies to take home. There will also be a children's game area, arts and crafts, live music, and more. Again, that event is rain or shine. You can get more information at TrumbleTimes.com. We are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. The construction is incredible, whether it's the floors, the fireplace, the moldings, the lighting. It's as peaceful as my home was in the middle of the woods. It feels like a house. It does not feel like a condo or a townhome. I feel like I'm in my house.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Mosquitoes, ticks, gone. Guaranteed. That's what Mosquito Squad guarantees as America's most trusted mosquito and tick control company. Locally owned and operated, over 90,000 homes have been protected by Mosquito Squad using their dual protection method for season-long protection, which includes barrier spray service for eliminating mosquitoes and adult ticks, as well as supplemental programs to increase tick control. They use only USDA organic options, which are safe and non-toxic. Contact them today at www.squadctny.com or 203-893-4309. Mosquito Squad. No bugs, no bites, no kidding.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure every Thursday at 2 on the HAN Network.
We're back on this Tuesday edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. And before we recap some of the top stories we're following today, before the break, we were talking about Trumbull's United Methodist Church Blueberry Festival, but we gave the wrong date. That's coming up July 23rd. We've had them in here in the past in our studios to talk about the festival. The pies are amazing, so be sure to check that out, July 23rd. But now, recapping some of the top stories in the area, the Milford Police Department's Detective Bureau is investigating a suspicious masked man who was caught on camera July 7th at about 3 a.m. on Cedarhurst Lane and again July 11th at the same location at about 2:45 in the morning. Police said a man slowly opened the screen door of a home to check and see if it was unlocked. Then he rang the doorbell, which is a video camera that was activated by the man walking toward it. The man is described as light-skinned, wearing a Yankee baseball cap, gloves, and face covering. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Milford Police Department at 203-878-6551. And the Valley Independent Sentinel is reporting that 4 more women have alleged they were groped by a Shelton salon employee, according to police. Shelton Detective Richard Bango would not release additional information about the new allegations other than that they are investigating them. The accusations could lead to more criminal charges against Hyung-Chan Kim, 53 years old, of Queens, New York. Kim's lawyer, Sung-Ho Wong, said he could not comment because he is still looking into the allegations. He said, "We're still doing the investigation, and it's important that your readers understand there's a presumption of innocence." Kim was working as a massage therapist at Coco Spa on Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton until police started investigating sexual assault complaints from 2 women. He was charged July 5th with 2 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault and 2 counts of practicing massage therapy without a license. Kim allegedly groped a woman who had a tumor in her breast and another woman suffering from lupus, according to the arrest warrants. The woman with lupus went to Coco Spa in early May to get a massage that would help her cope with the pain from the disease. There's much more on that story at valleyindy.org. And work continues on the Route 825 bridges in Bridgeport, and Manafort Brothers International, the contractor demolishing and replacing the 4 bridges, has posted a YouTube video of progress thus far. The video is the latest tool that Manafort has used to show people how the $35 million job is done. It's using live cams, Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube to keep people updated. Hearst Connecticut Media reports that last month, the demolition of the southbound Capitol Avenue and Lindley Street bridges were demolished and replaced in less than 2 weeks. Beginning this Saturday, work will begin on the removal and replacement of 2 northbound bridges. The work will be a repeat of what the contractor did on the southbound side of the highway. And in other news today, New Canaan Police Chief Leon Krolakowski is speaking out on drug and alcohol abuse in town, particularly among young people. Krolakowski said that heroin and other opioids are available in New Canaan, and they continue to make the sale of illegal opioids in town the highest priority and will continue to find educational opportunities to deter opioid use. Krolakowski also spoke out about drugs and alcohol and its tie to sexual assault crimes among young people. He said alcohol and drug use contribute to unwanted sexual encounters between minors because they impair cognitive ability to recognize and resist sexual aggression. He said generally someone under the influence of alcohol or drugs cannot give consent, and most of the sexual assaults that the department investigates involve the use of alcohol and drugs. Krolakowski also noted that the most influential group, the parents of the town's children, must step forward and make the proper yet unpopular choices when it comes to preventing underage use of alcohol and drugs. He said preventing a child's death or addiction makes the unpopular choice seem easy, but he said ignoring or marginalizing the risks of underage substance abuse leads to tragedies. And in partnership with the Prospector Theater, the Ridgefield Police Department will be holding a car seat clinic tomorrow, Wednesday, July 13th. The clinic will be held in the Prospector Theater parking lot from 8 in the morning until noon. Child passenger safety technicians from the Ridgefield Police will be present to inspect and assist with the installation of child passenger restraint systems. No appointment is necessary, and inspections and installations will be done on a first-come, first-served basis, and there is no charge for that service. But taking one final look at the forecast before we wrap things up, sun and clouds mixed today, high of 81 degrees in the area, humidity at 53%. Tonight, 65 degrees, humidity up, and tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, high of 86 degrees, humidity higher at 63%, and it will be getting hotter as we go through the week. But we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Be sure to check out The Drive with Denise at 12:30, and of course, the Nutmeg Sports with Frank Bernito at 2 o'clock. We will see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11.